Hello and welcome to the Boretum channel. Happy to host you here. Today we'll be talking about how to start 3D printing. And Eredal, thanks for this question and ask in the comments. I'm happy to help here. And I will have a story about that for you. But before we go there, let me tell you why I look so stupid today. So this mustache is a part of the Movember movement, and I'm shooting this video in November. And Movember is the movement in November to raise the awareness of men's health issues and like prostate cancer or testicular cancer. So every November I'm doing it to myself just to keep people asking why, and I can tell them, test yourself, do your regular checkups and avoid problems, health problems. So if you're a man that is 30 plus, please give it a thought. Okay, so that was the side comment. Now let's get back to the story. So once upon a time, there was a person that wanted to start a 3D printing journey. So the obvious thing is to find a guru, a master, in some remote location, in some mountains. So our hero spent some time traveling, reached the master, and the master said, you know what? I have a number of questions that you will need to answer. The first question is, do you handle failures well? Why do you ask, master? Because 3D printing is sometimes a hassle, and you will fail from time to time, and you need to handle it well. It needs to motivate you, not make you unhappy. Okay, master. So what's the second question? The second question is, are you good in guessing? Why guessing? Because when you do 3D printing and something fails, from time to time, you will have no clue why. And you will go online, search, ask around, you will get contradicting answers, and you will need to guess and figure out on your own. So if the answer is yes, then we come to the third question. The third question is, do you tolerate mess? Why? You know, this hobby is not a clean one. You will find bits and pieces of plastic everywhere, basically. When you scrap the printing surface, these tiny bits will fly around. You'll find them in your personal things, in your wardrobe, whatever. It will be roughly in many places. So if the answer is yes, I can tolerate mess, then the fourth one will be, is your intimate relationship strong enough to handle that hobby? What? Well, simply, as mentioned before, it will be messy. You will spend nights sometimes to figure something out because you'll be curious why this damn thing is not working. And sometimes I figure out that I'm staying up till 3 a.m. fixing something. So you need to be sure that it won't harm your home life, your partner, kids, parents, whoever. Okay, so that was the fourth question. And the fifth question is, who are you? And the master will give only 3 options: artist, engineer, gadgeteer. So if you're a gadgeteer, then the master will tell you, buy yourself a smartphone. Forget about 3D printing. Unless you want just to put it on your desk to make it look nice, then go for it. But if you're an artist or an engineer, then this might be a hobby for you. If you're an artist, you can design things, create things, make things that are nice, good looking, creative, original, and so on and so forth. If you're an engineer, then there's plenty to do. You can fix things. You can modify things. You can create some tools for yourself. And finally, you can modify the printer itself and develop it. So that's a good thing. So if you answer these 5 questions, you know the answers, then the master will say, yeah, you can go start the journey and go for it. Okay, so once we have, I assume you answered yes to majority of these, plus, you know, if you're an engineer or an artist or a gadgeteer. And then if we know all that, then it's time to start with our to-do list. So there are 5 things on my to-do list for you if you're serious about starting 3D printing. So first, pretty obvious one, you need to buy a 3D printer. And it doesn't really matter that much what type and make you will buy. I strongly recommend starting with the FDM or FFF or whatever the acronym you like, but the one that uses the filament as the material. And depending on your budget and your engineering eagerness, you can buy something that is more open for modification, like a Ender, Creality Ender series, and I would recommend these for engineers. Basically, you can buy some upgrade kits, change things, find tons of information about this printer. And if you're an artist, then maybe a Prusa series Prusa printer will be good for you, mainly because the Prusa is trying to build an environmental platform where you can actually post printer files, so not the model files but the printer files. As you maybe already know, if you have a 3D model of an object, then you need to translate it into a G-code file, so the recipe for the printer to print it out. And majority of stuff you can find in the internet is just the models, and you need some know-how to make it a recipe for the printer. And if a printer is standard one, then you can also use the G-code that someone else prepared for you, and that's what Prusa and his printables.com is doing. So if you want to have less trouble, this might be an option for you, but still, whatever you'll buy, you might have fun. So first thing is ticked. You bought a 3D printer. One more thing, buy something that is either fully assembled or pre-assembled. Don't buy a bag of parts, because it might be, unless you are a hardcore engineer. If you are, then go ahead and buy a blueprint, buy all the parts yourself and build it. I did that a few times and it's fun. But unless you really want to do that, buy something pre-assembled, just to avoid the mistakes that you can make when building the thing up, grounds up, and concentrate on the printing. So assuming you bought a printer, the next thing is you need some plastic. So buy yourself a spool of PLA for the start. If you are an artist, there are plenty of colors. If you're an engineer, there are plenty of vendors selling plastic, and so it doesn't really matter. The important hint from the practitioner: buy something that has a different color than your build plate of your printer, because if your build plate is black, and that's the most common one, and you start printing with black filament, it will be tough to see what's really happening. So buy something contrasting. If your print bed is black, buy some nice color that is different than black. Okay, so that's, you have a printer and you have your filament. Then the thing I strongly recommend is find yourself a print pal, because it's nice to share your successes and sometimes failures with someone. And if you can find around yourself someone with experience, it will be useful and helpful. So you can do it, of course, online. You don't need to find a person that lives close nearby. So that's the print pal is your third item on your to-do list. The fourth one would be to start with learning how to print. So before you start designing your own stuff, modifying things, messing with the printer itself, buying upgrades and whatever, start with basics. So learn to print some standard models, follow the tutorials, there's plenty of that. And first, it will give you some initial successes and satisfaction that this damn thing is really capable of doing something. And second, you will learn in a small step how to improve gradually, right? The engineering advice from myself is that if you modify something, doesn't matter if it's a configuration, the filament or whatever, always change just one thing. Because if you're not super happy with the print and you will change 3 things, even if the next print will be better, you will have no clue what was really making a difference. So change one parameter, example temperature, and see how it influences the print, and then change another one, and then another one. So it's a very iterative process. Okay, so buy a printer, buy filament, find a print pal, learn how to print before you start doing something more crazy. And 5th one, the critical one, have fun. Okay, so I hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching, and if you have questions, ask them in the comment section or reach me directly. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.